It is one thing to talk about the importance of OPR, but what does it look like in practice? We've already looked at the idea of hiring specialist equipment rather than purchasing it. Another example may be where you need marketing expertise to develop a marketing strategy for your business. You could, of course, employ a marketing person. Or, if you were to access OPR, you may hire a consultant on a short-term contract, or even approach a business school to see whether any final year marketing students would be interested in doing an internship with your business, involving the development of a marketing plan. Perhaps, in another example, your business is lacking credibility in your industry. You could spend valuable cash resources on accreditations, training, networking, or similar for you or your business. Alternatively, you could access OPR by identifying senior, experienced people who may have retired, and you approach them for help in developing your business. In one of my early ventures, my business partner and I readily identified that we lacked credibility, and so we approached a very senior, respected member of the community who was semi-retired to be the chair of our advisory committee. In that role, he invited some of his valued colleagues from the business community to also join this committee. And this gave our venture incredible street cred, and so we leveraged off their reputations and their experience to help us develop our reputation. And as a result, we achieved sales orders and investment capital much, much earlier than if we had not pursued this strategy. Let's consider another scenario. Perhaps your business needs office space. You could lease a space by yourself and pay full rent, together with all the associated costs. Or by accessing OPR, you could look to take advantage of a space already leased by someone else. In most urban cities, for example, there are co-working spaces where you can rent a portion of a larger office space. Now, if you need something larger, or on a longer term, you could look for premises currently leased by larger established corporations who have moved on to other premises. They may be looking for someone to occupy the space they've just moved from in the short term, to contribute toward the lease rental they are still responsible for after they've moved. This is something that I and my co-founder did in starting one of our ventures. We were able to negotiate an extremely reduced lease rental on the entire floor of a building after a financial institution had moved to a building that they had just purchased, but they still had a short-term lease to go. In this situation, we only needed to occupy a small portion of this, so we subleased the rest of the floor to other startup ventures and actually made money on this, which helped us in resourcing our business, not only with the cash that we received, but also with some of the expertise that some of the other startups had in terms of their people resources, which we lacked. And so by just talking to some of our tenants over a coffee, we were able to access marketing advice, financial advice, legal advice, and so on. And so as an entrepreneur in a startup situation, you'll need to consider how you would go about tapping into other people's resources, OPR. Some of the questions you might need to ask include the following. What types of resources do you need? What do you need to do to access these resources that are owned by others? Who could you approach? How could you access these for free, or at least at a reduced cost? For example, are there options to rent or access for short-term periods? What additional benefits could you gain? For example, the extra revenue stream mentioned previously. How can you do more with less? You'll need to give thought as to what creative entrepreneurial strategies you need to devise to be able to do this. So, in terms of developing an entrepreneurial approach to resources and improving your chances of transitioning through the valley of death, remember the importance of using other people's resources wherever possible. That is, try to minimize resources by controlling them rather than owning them.